Okay, cool. So this is the second time doing this one. The idea around this one is so it's a little bit shorter because the one I done was 30 minutes when I was actually going through. Some people might want to watch that, but I'm gonna make this one nice and short because no one needs to see half an hour of me talking about my previous life and how I scheduled things. So I'm gonna make one short one, one long one. If you want to go back to a long one, kind of me talking through it, why I did the things that I did, then you can go back to that episode. But again, that's half an hour, so I'm gonna make this one nice and short. So today we're gonna go over time management, how I manage my time at work, university, and also my training as well. And this is a very real application. So if you're not gonna go and actually apply this, then you can just leave the video now. There's no point you being here because it's going to be absolutely useless to you. But if you are here, then you're an action taker. You're going to download a calendar app. I don't care if it's not Google. The reason we use Google is because it's very good for third party apps. So it kind of works with most other apps. Whereas sometimes like Google Calendar and that can be a little bit more complicated and it doesn't respond well to other things. So Google Calendar is a nice all round, and then you can connect your Google Calendar to your Apple Calendar as well. So it's kind of like a best of all worlds. Also, you got all color coding and stuff, and it's just easy. It's easy to use, which is the most important thing, especially when it comes to time management, because that's really confusing enough. So, again, this video is for action takers, people who are ready to actually take their time into their hands and do something about it. So, all of us have no time, right? So, and I'm not talking about, and this is the clear difference between not having time and having a bad day. Having a bad day just means you have a bad day. Maybe it's an emotional response to something that's happened, and sometimes you need a timeout, and that's okay. But this is a non-emotional approach and a non-emotional structure to how our week should look so that we can achieve the goals that we want. So this is what my schedule used to look like a year ago when I was still working in retail. I was at university full time, and um, I was also training at the gym. So again, there's definitely some discrepancies here. For sure, like sometimes work could be at 9 to 7, and sometimes it would be a five to four, 5 to no, 6 to 5. There you go. Sorry, my bad. And sometimes there was variations. But this is most of all of this was like kind of like the tree trunk, and it pretty much always stayed like this. So the first thing I would do for your action takers is set up a time where you wake up and a time where you go to bed. These are the first things, because then that becomes your brackets. They're like your non-negotiables. These are the times that I wake up every day. And trust me, it's so much easier when you just set up a day where, or a time where you just wake up, because your body gets used to the system and it's so much easier. There's no such thing as, oh, I got less sleep today because on this day I wake up at this time. It's just create a schedule. So they're then your brackets. So then you can fit everything in between those. So all we do is we create a bracket, and then all we do is go, 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 and we find all the time in between, and then you have a busy day. Um, so wake up, bedtime. So let's establish those first. Then what we do is we go for our work schedule. Okay, when am I working? So if you get your rota a month in advance, or if you get yours weeks in advance, just put it into your calendar straight away, because that's not going anywhere. Especially if you're physically in a place or whatever, pull it in. If you're working from home, pull it in. Those are your working hours, and that is where you're going to be. Then what you do is if you commute to work, then you put your commuting time. So again, for me, working in retail, 10-hour shifts. I worked in Guildford. I live in Luton. If you don't get on the M25 by 6 o'clock, game over. 2-hour drive. So that's why I had to be on the M1 by quarter to 6, and then I'd get there in an hour and a half on a good day, and then I'd give myself half an hour to grab myself a coffee or that before work, and then allocate that time in the evening as well. So again, we're starting from the ends. What do we have to do? We go to sleep and we wake up, and then it's like, what do we do in between till we get to the middle, right? So cool. Driving, commuting, allocated, work, allocated, cool. Then what do we do? Then we look at all the white space that we have left. Okay, so I want to train, I want to work out. And again, by the way, like uni was it was part of the work, so I'd get that in there. So my 2 days off were the days that I was at uni. I was really lucky that my work was accommodating and had my days off as uni days. So I was able to balance all of that out. Some of you might think I'm lying, but this this is literally my calendar. And anyone knows me that cl is close enough, this is what my calendar looked like. Um, and uni was in London as well. So again, I'd have to get up. Um, this would kind of be after the rush hour, getting into uni. So it wasn't too bad. But yeah, about an hour and a half to get to uni. But it was a little bit of a lie-in, right? So, anyways, so what usually happens is you put your work schedule in or whatever, and you go, okay, cool, I don't have time. So I don't have time to revise. I don't have time to, catch up with uni work. I don't have time to get my steps in. Yeah, that's true because I'm driving, I'm at work, and then when I go home, I'm then in bed. So when am I going to have that time, right? So you need to look again. Now we need to dig deeper. So what happens when you're at work? You have breaks, right? Or if you work from home, maybe every 4 hours or so, you have little breaks and that. Okay, what am I actually doing in those breaks? Let me allocate a walk for myself. So literally, I would split my hour break into two. The first half an hour or a half an hour would be allocated to walking, getting steps in, and then the other half would be allocated to uni work. Because what are you doing otherwise? Like sitting on your phone, just scrolling. And that's okay if it's a timeout, but it's just like if you've got stuff to do and you're saying you don't have enough time to do things, well, yeah, that's because you're just scrolling through your phone doing nothing. So of course you don't have any time. Whereas for me, I was like, no, my health is my priority and catching up with uni is my priority. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm walking and I'm doing revision in that hour break time. Um, and then again, then I looked again and I was like, okay, cool. So now I've caught up with uni, which is something that I said I didn't have enough time to do. Then I've caught up with walking and getting my steps in, which I said I didn't have enough time to do. Now what's next? Okay, my gym workouts. So where's the white space? Where can I go? Okay, cool. So actually, I finished uni early. And guys, like, remember, you'll have days off if you're not busy on your days off, or if you have days off, you'll have space in your days off. Guess what? They're your 2 days to work out. And then a stretch workout, a third day a week would be after work. And that's literally what I done. So I had a pure gym membership then, because I was traveling around so much. And obviously, with a pure gym membership, you can kind of bounce around. You can go to whatever one is in those brackets. And it worked well for me. So I'd go to gym in Twickenham, where I went to uni. And then after work, I'd go to gym in Woking. And then I also had my Luton gym membership. So whenever I was kind of in and around home, I'd be able to train there as well. And they're 24 hours. So they're always open, right? The reason why I would train after work or uni is because what happens, so this is for very much for someone who drives to work or commutes. Um, what happens, right? It's rush hour. So what would be the point of me? It's like trying to get off a plane when it lands. Everyone's rushing, everyone's bumping around. What would be the point of me sitting on the M25 for 2 hours when I know that after 8 o'clock I can get home in an hour? So what would I do? Let me just go to the gym, get my workout in, and then when I drive home, it's stress free because I'm not sitting there, no one's cutting in front of me, no one's being a dick. I'm just able to drive home on a clear road and I've got my workout in. So guess who's winning? But I was only able to identify that by actually looking at the blank space and going, oh, actually, that could work out. Then what'd you do? Okay, cool. So I'm on this gym journey, getting my steps in, uni sorted, I've got my revision done, driving's been allocated for, waking up and going to sleep. Oh, okay, what about my meal prep? Okay, cool. So I know actually on this day or my day off, I've got some time available after, going to the gym earlier, driving home earlier. Okay, cool. Actually, Tuesday can be my day that I go shopping. So I'm not going to go home after I drive. I'm just going to go straight and I'm going to do my shopping for the week. Then when I get home, I'm going to go straight onto the meal prep. Now, time relevancy is quite fun actually, because I've literally just done a video on top three items to have in your shopping basket if you're trying to achieve some goals. And literally, one of the things there is a microwave meal or microwave meals. So after you've done shopping, you put the shopping away and then you're doing meal prep. If you're meal prepping for the next 3 days, then, last thing you want to do is then cook dinner on top, right? So I'd have a microwave meal, make sure it's got protein, low in salt, you know, pick the right option of microwave meals, pop that in the microwave while I'm doing my meal prep, eat the food, meal prep done. Guess what? Time for bed or time to wind down. That's when I'm scrolling, or that's when I'm reviewing my week and thinking, oh, have I done enough? Have I done my workouts? Cool. Is there any university work I need to catch up on? Cool, cool, cool. And then I can wind down and go to bed. Like it would have been, and like literally, it wasn't until I actually sat down and physically done this. Again, if you're watching this, you're an action taker. it wasn't until I actually looked at my calendar that I was like, oh, I do have time, because it's so easy to reject things. And again, going back to the mindset thing that I done, do you have a growth mindset, or do you have a limited mindset? Like, are you someone who's going to go, actually, I have time because I want to achieve this amazing result in my uni work or my work or whatever target I have? I'm going to make time, because guess what? We have 24 hours in a day. And my favorite quote from Arnold is that, if I need 10 hours of sleep, 8 hours of sleep, just sleep faster. Okay. There's like one of my favorite quotes is just sleep faster. Because by the way, going bed at 9 and waking up at 5, you still get your 8 hours, you know? So, it's pretty good. So you do have time. But of course, how do you know that you have time if you can't even visually see your calendar? Because that's the thing, right? There's nothing worse than, for example, you get a text message or someone be like, oh, I'm 30 minutes away. And you're like, what, that panic, that drop in the heart, because you're like, what the hell's going on? Whereas if that was in your calendar, you would have known about it. You would have been able to prepare for it, and you know what's going on. You have more structure. There's less anxiety because you know what's going on. And trust me, this is a game changer. So, for anyone who is an action taker and you've lasted this long, download Google Calendar, send me a screenshot. So anyone that's come from Instagram who said that they struggled with time management, anyone that's come from Instagram, send me a screenshot of your calendar, send it over to me. Let's find some opportunities for you to get some workouts in. Anyone who's listening to this from inside the coaching program, send me a screenshot, show me, be an action taker. If you want this to work, then let's make it work. But yeah, this one's a little bit of a shorter one. If you want a little bit of a longer winded one, then you can watch the video before. But unless you actually download like some sort of a calendar app and visually see where spaces are and then dive deeper, dive deeper, dive deeper. For example, when I was driving, what was I doing while I was driving? Oh, I really want to listen to that book, or I really want to read that book. I really want to listen to that podcast. I downloaded Audible, and while I was driving, I was reading the book. And then guess what? I had things to talk about when I was at work. Oh, do you watch this show on Netflix? No, I don't really have time to physically sit and watch something on TV, but I did read this book, or I did listen to this book because I was driving. How can think about the barriers or the things that we have in our lives, and how can we break it down and make the most of it? Like, oh, I'm at work, but guess what? When is my free time at work? It's on break. And if it's really true to you, and if this goal is really important to you, then that, because a lot of people would say, oh, it's my break time, like I need to relax. If your goal is really true to you, then your break time won't mean anything, and you'll be dedicated to your goals and you'll make time for it. So that's exactly how I plan myself. Again, if you're an action taker and if you want to actually make a change, then do this. Send me a screenshot and we can see where some time is if you're struggling with time. And I appreciate that not everyone's going to look like that, but trust me, we're all busy and it's about finding time. Your gym sessions don't have to be 2 hours, they can be half an hour. You can fit them in. Trust me. Hopefully, this helped make some change. And this is one of my tips on time management. So, hopefully, this helped. And I will see you in the next one.